woken back up and say, you need to be a feature guy over the middle where Rice has been throwing the ball. You got to go back to doing your thing. And he did. I think Noah Gray is a big-time player for the Chiefs, okay? I'm not saying give him a big free agent contract and, the Houston Texans take him or something like that. But for the Chiefs, I think he is a really good compliment. He catches everything, runs routes the right way. So they did do that, Danny, but they also added some physicality. I think Kareem Hunt is running really well, and the Chiefs had balance in their offense, but they're using Xavier Worthy perfectly. He is only a rookie, and it takes a while to develop exactly what you're going to do with this guy, but I think he's been contributing in a big-time way. Sometimes that's throwing him the ball 1 yard past the line of scrimmage, Danny. But if he's on the run, he is going to turn that thing into a big number play. So I think I thought this was a big step forward, that we can quit talking about the excuses of what the Chiefs can't do. Patrick Mahomes is magical. If we were playing touch football, he acted like he's Barry Sanders back there. I mean, how hard is it for those defensive linemen to even touch him? He runs around in circles. He spins. Are you kidding me? It's like he's joking around in the backyard in an NFL game. So Patrick Mahomes is unbelievable. Andy Reid will find a way to move the offense. They'll morph themselves 2 or 3 times before the season ends, Danny. Just count on it, okay? So right now, oh, gosh, my buddies are all like, run the ball. This is great. Run the ball. And I go, well, you know what, guys? If I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm saying thank you every time Patrick Mahomes hands the ball off. Every time. Because if you give up an 8-yard run, who cares in my mind? But Andy Reid is saying, you're going to have to defend us this way right now. Right now with Kareem Hunt in the backfield and with the injuries we have, we're going to make you deal with a physical running game. And there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you get back to the passing game. And they did. They threw for over 300 yards. I thought the Chiefs offense took a big step forward in this game.
However, they still have trouble in the red zone. And I'll say it this way. I thought of this last night. If anybody else besides Andy Reid was running out some of the plays he calls in the red zone, people would think they were the person was out of their mind. They'd call him the Mad Hatter or, a kind of a crazy scientist or whatever. Some of the stuff they do, to me, is just, well, it's too elaborate. But anyway, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like I tweeted out, it's second and goal and you throw when you're way ahead and it's deflected and you intercepted, keeping the game in play at that point in time, and the blowback was, well, the ball hit him right in the hands. So, I mean, he's 5 yards away. Patrick Mahomes is throwing the ball. There is a chance he can drop it. So I don't know. It's Andy Reid is so creative. It's almost like sometimes he's sitting there late at night with a glass of wine. That sounds like fun. I'll do that.
Yes, and he also supposedly listens to the players make up stuff as well. Inside shovel passes and those type of things. The Chiefs, even back when Tyreek Hill were here, I just thought we're a little too cute on 3rd and 2s, 4th and 1s, red zone plays. And now that they just refuse to say they're going to run a quarterback sneak with Patrick Mahomes, the defense doesn't have to waste gaps. How many games did I see this week, Danny, where on 4th and 1, the defensive tackles did a good job of shifting and getting on each side of the shoulder of the center and saying, with the best of our ability, you are not going to quarterback sneak. If we can have any power with our dudes, their emphasis is inside stop the quarterback sneak. Chiefs defense, when you're playing against the Chiefs and you're the defense, you don't have to worry about that right now. Until proven otherwise, I guess Patrick isn't going to run a quarterback sneak. So now that you don't have to load those 2 guys in and you can scoot them and gap out, Danny, then you got a lot more edge pressure that you can put on. This is a game of inches, man. And so I think if I'm watching a game, I am much more nervous watching the Chiefs on 3rd and 1 than I am on 3rd and 9. Crazy, but It's true.
Yeah, there's no question about that. But that's just a little fly in the ointment. The Chiefs are fun, they win, and so on and so forth. Now let's turn to the rest of the NFL real quick. And news today that the Jets have fired Robert Saleh. The Jets are playing for first place this week in a game against the Buffalo Bills, and they just fired their coach. I don't think he's much of a coach. I agree that he's not, but 5 games, it just shows the crazy volatility. And I think the frustration level that's in part created by the Kansas City Chiefs. They're an AFC team. They're looking around. They're like, this is slipping away.
Yes, and they made their investment to get an all-time quarterback. So how do you deal with all that? And I've not been a fan of Robert Saleh. I think that he's been overrated as the coach there. I think his defense has been overrated. I told you, I think, Danny, in our podcast that under pressure, I don't think the Jets defense is going to hold up. You know, it's easy when you're down by 10 or 14, the opponent's just trying to run out the game to go, oh, we're dominating you. So I think everything about the Jets is something I didn't believe in with Robert Saleh. But to give him the benefit of the doubt, he's been put in an untenable situation because when they brought Aaron Rodgers in, they basically made it Aaron Rodgers' world. And they said Saleh, who's not a quarterback guy, right? He's not an offensive guy. He's a defensive guy. So when it comes to anything on the offense and even somewhat the face of the team, it's like just as long as Aaron's happy, we're gonna deal with that. So in this last year or so, he's had his claws taken out. He hadn't been able to be himself and coach, and that is even a worse combination. You know, that's just completely unfair. But it's part of being the right guy, Danny. Because if you're the right guy, no matter what ownership tries to do, and man, the NFL owners, they throw some crap in the face of their coaches. Okay, right. You know, Danny, we could go into a podcast for 2 hours where I could show you a million examples where these owners are not on the same page with what the coach needs. And I'm on the coach's side on this discussion. Right. But the great coaches fight through it. Yeah. You know, the great coaches. Andy Reid has done a great job, and Clark Hunt deserves a ton of credit for being the Chiefs owner. But I'm telling you what, Andy Reid would be a great coach no matter which owner he was working with. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Andy Reid would take all the crap they're giving him and walk in the locker room and close the doors and go, okay, we've been dealt this pile of crap, but we're going to get something and we're going to scoop it out of here and we're going to find a way to win. Because the owner isn't with us anymore, guys. Here's what we're going to do. So you can't let yourself get into those situations. If you're a great coach, you handle the Aaron Rodgers situation, even if the ownership's basically made Aaron Rodgers the king and not you. So he's kind of been given a breath of fresh air. He's going to get paid for the rest of the year. He didn't have to deal with this crap, the New York media. And I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers has been a bad guy to him, but Aaron Rodgers flat out disagreed with the head coach, was it 2 weekends ago, Danny? Mm-hmm. When he was using his snap count, if you don't know the story, he was using his snap count in that incredible Aaron Rodgers way, which is like playing with fire because the defense might jump, but you know who else might jump? Your guys. Okay? So after the game, Saleh is like, I just think maybe Aaron needs to cut back a little bit on that. It's a little too risky. You know, it cost us a couple of 5-yard penalties, maybe 3 in that close game. Welcome to the NFL. They're all close, it seems like. And, you know, Aaron pulled our guys outside. Maybe he needs to change his snap count. And what did Aaron Rodgers do at the podium right after him? Go, hey, no, maybe we ought to coach up our guys and tell them quit jumping. You know, so we know who won out in that battle, right? And I don't think they disliked each other. I don't think Aaron disliked the coach. I don't think the coach disliked Aaron. But it's an untenable situation when ownership forces things on a coach, and the coach doesn't have the capability of fighting back without saying things in public against the owner. And that's what these head coaches are doing. They're dancing around the craziness of the owner. And sometimes their kids and their family walking in and thinking that your football team's just a toy in their wealthy game, right? Yep. I mean, one day it's at McDonald's, the next day it's a steel company, and the third day it's their football team, and they act like they're all the same. It's like, no, dude, this is different. So, Saleh, who did they name as the interim?
I don't even know. I don't even think they've done it yet. This just, as we speak, happened like an
Hopefully,
hour
how about
ago.
this? You want to talk about one of the worst head coaches ever?
Oh, yeah, I don't think it'll be him. Nathaniel Hackett's the offensive coordinator, so I don't think they're – and the reason he's the offensive coordinator because Aaron Rodgers is buddies with him. So
exactly.
Anyway, let's turn to the colleges coming up next.
That's why I haven't heard yet if he's going to be the head coach.
I don't think he'll be the head coach. I don't think that's going to happen, but you never know in the National Football League. We got lots of stuff to talk about in the college game, and we will get to it next. It's Danny and Stan's Football Weekend on a Tuesday after Monday Night Football and Monday Night Baseball. Royals and Chiefs, both winners. We'll check out the winners and losers in college coming up next.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
It's always a pleasure to catch up with Dr. Brad Woodle from Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture, 8 locations all around Kansas City, the latest in Raytown. Pick out the one that's most convenient for you and pick it out this fall. If you've got a young athlete who needs a little bit of treatment or tender, loving care, injuries can happen, little strains can happen, and Dr. Woodle, you can help them out.
We take care of athletes both in prevention and in those injuries. Things happen, but the most exciting thing is we can take care of almost anything that deals with bones, muscles, joints. Whether it's a sprain, strain, or a concussion, we can take care of that athlete.
That you can at all the locations around Kansas City, and you can get that treatment, your own treatment, all the treatments you want to make you feel better, body, mind, and spirit at Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture. Visit ASFCA.com/Danny. That's ASFCA.com/Danny.
Hey Kansas City, Joe Spiker, Easton Roofing here. I know that picking a roofing company can be a daunting task. Here at Easton Roofing, we treat homeowners like family and look forward to winning your trust. We abide by the adage of doing the right thing, especially when nobody is looking. From the moment you reach out and book an appointment to the day we finish your project, we're here with you. Check that roofing project off of your list. Pick up the phone and give us a call, 913-257-5426. Easton Roofing. Integrity matters.
If you'd like to join these and other fine sponsors and market your business on Kansas City's #1 rated podcast, contact us at Danny@DannyKlinkscale.com. Look forward to working with you.
Welcome back. It's time to talk college football now. And why don't we start off with the positive? How about that? Kansas State didn't play last week, and they played great the week before. And now they face another high-profile, late-in-the-day football game as they take on Prime and Colorado. But the Cats are in good shape coming into this. Did you like the time after that great victory for the bye, or would it have been better to keep rolling?
Great question, Danny. Great question. I don't know the answer because some people will point out in the last 5 games that K-State's had after a bye, they're only 1-4.
Right.
And that's not the normal winning percentage for Chris Kleiman. So you got to respect that. And you got to respect up in the mountains at altitude at a 9 o'clock or after kickoff. Reminds you a little bit too much of BYU. So there's a little concern there as well. But when you think back to last Saturday, one of the big themes after the games were over was it was Survival Saturday. That's what ESPN was saying on one of their shows, Survival Saturday. And the reason why it's national news is because we have 6 of the top 11 teams lose in college football, and most of them were to unranked teams. So it was just a day of a complete surprise. Vanderbilt over Alabama obviously is the lead story, and it continues on. So the fact that K-State didn't play last week and didn't lose is kind of a, hey, raise your hand up and we'll take that, right? So it was a crazy Saturday. I think K-State took a big step forward against Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's reeling a little bit with the hard schedule they had, and K-State punched them in the mouth. But the development of Avery Johnson in his passing game, in his ability to make decisions on the move, he can move easily. He can get away from defenders like it's no big deal, and he's the fastest guy on the field. But the question is when you have all that running ability, like Lamar Jackson, this is like Lamar Jackson. When do you decide when you roll out you're going to pass and settle back in and throw a pass? And when do you say I'm going to lethally run and make you pay? And it's a hard challenge because should you get hit? Should you become a non-passer? No. But should you run? Yes. It's hard to figure it all out. And I think Avery Johnson's been working through that. He's a young quarterback, Danny, and his accuracy has not been perfect in the passing game. But his accuracy really came on in the normal passing game. And he started making really good decisions on the move, like when I should run, when I shouldn't. And he ends up with 5 touchdowns accounted for, 3 passing, 2 running. So I thought K-State's offense really took a step forward. DJ Giddens is unbelievable. We don't talk about him enough. I think he's the most underrated player in college football, Danny. He's a workhorse. He's physical, and he's fast enough. He burst out in a big play against Oklahoma State. On a run right up the middle, it should have been a 6-yard run. He goes 66 yards as he jukes a guy who's unblocked, and then kicks it back in gear after slowing down completely and outruns 3 guys for a touchdown. So DJ Giddens running the ball, Avery Johnson, the defense is good. K-State's in a good situation, but they're going against a hard team in Colorado only because I don't know of any team in the country that could create more momentum than Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, and the Buffs. Do you? I mean, these guys have been all over the board, and they will easily fold and get mad at each other and not work well with the media. You know, Colorado is like having dynamite